Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
All right, well, we made that last year, and I got to be honest, I have no idea. I forgot that I put the ho-ho-ho at the beginning. That threw me for a loop. Welcome to the last weekend of a 2025 calendar year with basketball involved, at least on the women's side. One of the quietest weeks I can ever remember, only to be topped by what's coming next week, which is nothing, like literally nothing. But hey, at least we have games to talk about. You can't say that about every women's basketball organization out there. I'm looking at you, WNBA. We'll see you, 2027, hopefully. Great. Rob Joyce, Megan Gauer, usual show. Recap what's happened this past week. We'll find something to talk about. Preview a decent weekend, and then the world shuts down for Christmas week. We'll also wrap up the show, another all-time program draft today. Stanford, the Cardinal on deck. Megan, when we spoke last week, you had just come back from Europe. You had done 0 Christmas preparations. Where are we with 6 days to go?
Yes, and I was just sick when we talked last week. Still sick, got worse, now getting better. So I've still done 0 Christmas preparations. So it's about to be an eventful weekend.
Are you about to go to like the mall on a weekend before Christmas?
I think tonight is my plan because I'm hoping it won't be as bad tonight as it will be tomorrow. But yeah, I'm usually not this person. I'm usually the person that has like their Christmas shopping done 3 weeks in advance, so this is stressful for me.
Yeah, I'm not the person responsible for most things in our house. I'm responsible for 10 to 15%. Basically, buy stuff for my wife, wrap whatever she needs me to wrap, and then she's got the rest. So I have a weekend to myself. They're driving to Connecticut tonight, so I got a bachelor-free weekend because I got to work Sunday. And I got to fly up to Connecticut Monday, and then it's a blitz for a week. Got to see 10,000 people, and you got 5 days to do it. Then we're driving, which I'm not thrilled about, but
yeah,
cheaper than a flight. So early Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. It's the 6th night of Hanukkah. For those, my boss, Stephen Hartzell, if you listen to the football or men's basketball show on the CSN side of the feed, happy Hanukkah to everyone out there. Megan, you tell me, where on earth do you want to start? Because this week's games, largely uneventful. Couple of interesting non-conference games, or a couple of non-ranked, I can kind of say interesting conference games, but where do you want to start?
Should we start with last night and maybe say something nice about Duke for once?
Yeah, it seems like, so I said last week, if they're an NCAA tournament team, they go and take care of business against South Dakota State, who is will probably win the Summit League, go back to the tournament and be a 12, maybe a 13 seed this year. And boy, did they ever. A 43-point victory. Duke still sub 500, but that 5-6, I don't see, 6 will probably stay there for a little bit. I don't think if it reaches double digits, I can't imagine it's more than 10, 11.
Yeah, no. It feels like a little bit of a turning point, I think, just for them to go out, score 97 points, like you said, get the 43-point victory, and just I don't know, quiet some concerns about where this team is at. I thought they got really balanced scoring efforts. I think all 5 starters in double figures. Tony Fournier was fantastic, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. They were plus 20 on the boards. Just a very dominant win, which I think this team kind of needed over a team like South Dakota State.
Yeah, they've hit 70 plus in their last 3 games. 77 LSU, 70 Virginia Tech, 97 last night. Makes me feel a lot better about their trip to Belmont tomorrow after a dominant display last night. And then the defense, Virginia Tech, South Dakota State, both held to 54 points exactly. So the defense looks like it's turned a corner. Let me ask you. So they lose to Baylor by 6, and they lost to South Florida, which that loss, credit the Bulls for the way they're scheduling. Doesn't look great the way the Bulls have lost to some of these elite teams that they went out and beat Duke fairly handily. But let's just say Duke makes a couple more shots, beats Baylor. And then if they had a chance to do it over, beats South Florida. And they lose all the other games they lose. Do we feel a lot better about the Blue Devils if they make, I don't know, if they play one better quarter in Tampa and just make 3 more shots against Baylor? And that's only makes the record, 7-4? But did we maybe overcorrect the other way?
Yeah, I think probably, right? They're not bad losses. That's the thing. They scheduled tough, so a lot of these losses are not bad losses. But when you were looking at sub 500 going into conference play, it's just it's a little bit eye popping, right? And the South Florida loss, like that's shaping up to. At the time, I was like, it's not the worst loss in the world. It's shaping up to look worse than I maybe thought it would, just in the fashion that, like you said, South Florida has lost to some of these really, really good teams. But yeah, I think part of it too comes from like the preseason expectations for Duke, right? Like people thought this was a top 10 team. It's very clearly not. Like I think there was an expectation that this team, which hosted last year, right? Like did they make it the second weekend team last year? Like,
yeah, they made it to the Elite Eight. They almost beat South Carolina.
Right. Like people thought this team was going to take a step forward from where they are last year, and it really feels like they've taken a step back. And I think that's a lot where the sticker shock comes from.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to lose to South Carolina and UCLA and LSU.
Right.
Anyways, I just think it came at like the worst possible time where everyone's hitting the panic button in crisis mode, and it's like, well, that's not the time to play South Carolina because it's not going to be competitive.
Right.
Then the next day, play UCLA because that's going to be less competitive on a short prep. And then they got off to a nice start against LSU. If you take away the 15 to whatever start, then LSU outscored them by like 30 the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Then like they got some time to kind of reset, hit the reset button, and they look better. They're not top 10 good, but they're better, which is you'll take heading into conference play where you can start to rack up wins. At Belmont, feel a lot better about that trip than I did before yesterday's game. Take care of business at Syracuse. You host Boston College. Ride. That's probably a 5-game win streak when Notre Dame comes to town on January 4th. Things are starting to stabilize a little bit in Durham. ACC, there was conference games last night. But Florida State's really bad. Nice win for Virginia Tech. Hokies, 10-3. They're not bad. Miami, Wake is better than last year. They're one of those teams. They load up on a bad schedule. I understand why. Take wins where you can get them. 10-2 going into Miami was a little inflated. Still a nice win for the Canes. And then NC State, it was tight for a quarter against Georgia Tech, who's also bad. So that's a whole program reset. Everyone left. Head coach, top however many players. So yeah. But NC State, what do you make of NC State? Is there a team kind of like Duke where there are high expectations? They opened the year with a win against Tennessee and then a couple of losses in quick succession. Now it seems like they're trying to find it. Even with that loss to Oklahoma, they've rebounded 3 straight wins, and it seems like they're stabilizing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and I know we're going to get to this, but like how they look this weekend, and then as they get into ACC play, you've got another A10 team this weekend, a better A10 team than Rhode Island, in my opinion. And then you get into conference play, and I think, I don't know, you always, like, as much as think you know about these teams, I think once you get into conference play and kind of see these teams against each other a couple times, you start to learn a lot more about them. And I think we'll kind of quickly learn through conference play, like, is this team in the, like, Louisville, North Carolina territory? I don't think they're quite there, or more like that second tier of the ACC.
Yeah, I'm with you. ACC is open. I think we saw that Sunday. There are some good teams in the ACC. I'm not sure. Louisville might have a case. I don't know. I keep being high in North Carolina, and then they've lost the 3 games that honestly matter the most. So, like, the ACC might only have 1 team that hosts come March.
Yeah.
The only other game from last night that, it was a quick math, 59-point game, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. I figured South Carolina would win handily in Tampa. I didn't see 59 points. Yeah. And Joyce Edwards, we've talked about her a couple of times this year. This is her team, and now she's starting to play like an All-American. She's racking up points that, frankly, like Leah Boston was never a big scorer. Camila Cardoso, never a big scorer. They really haven't had a 25, 30-point caliber, consistent caliber offensive threat inside since Asia Wilson. It seems like Joyce Edwards blossoming into that. 25, 29, 34 her last 3 games.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting for South Carolina coming off. Obviously the loss to Texas is like no big deal, right? But just kind of, it feels like their offense has turned a corner a little bit, and that's having Joyce Edwards at the center of it. And like you said, that's just like not typical for a South Carolina team when we think about the last 4, 5, 6. I don't know how long has Asia been on the W now. It's been a while.
Right. They score 100 points a game and have 6 players that all scored between like 9 and 15 points.
Exactly. So we haven't seen this like lead scorer type mentality from really anyone on a South Carolina team. And I think it's interesting to see that shift. And I think people thought that shift would happen this year. I just don't know that they necessarily pointed to Joyce Edwards. They probably thought, oh yeah, you bring in like Tanaya Latson and she's going to go score 25 a game. And that has not been the case at all. But I think this is a really big step in the right direction for Joyce Edwards. And I think that's going to make this team better, having like a go-to player and having that blossom now versus like in March. Like I think they'll be able to ride that, and I'm excited to see what it kind of continues to look like as they get into SEC play, because as much as we're like the ACC might have one hosting team, there's a whole lot of really good teams in the SEC, and it's going to be very interesting as we get into conference play.
Some of these numbers from last night were mind-boggling. Edwards was 14 of 15. Acote was 6 of 7 in her return. She played 21 minutes. Tessa Johnson was 7 of 9. Raven Johnson was 5 of 7. The only person who was sub 500 or sub 50% was Latson. She was 7 of 15 with 6 steals. So yeah, we'll make up for the fact that she only shot 44%. Shot 63% as a team. Shot better from the field than they did from the free throw line. That'll be fun for Dawn Staley, I'm sure, to make a comment on for her team. But that's you're picking nits in a 59-point victory. Nothing else really happened last night. Wednesday, we'll get into this because there are a couple of, I'll say, important Big East games this weekend. Marquette had a chance to maybe be the second best team. Maybe they will be. They weren't competitive. What else happened Wednesday? All of Division I. Not a whole lot. There's more games against non-D1s. That brings us to Tuesday. What happened Tuesday? Well, UCLA almost won by 100. Good for them. LSU only won by not even 60 points. I mean, it's the crisis time in Baton Rouge. They only won by 58 against Morgan State. TCU put up a billion triple doubles in a row. Olivia Miles has 3 of them. They have 4 in the last 4 games. Let's see, what was the most exciting game Tuesday as I'm scrolling through? Howard over Cincinnati. Howard's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're a pretty good MEAC team. Boy, we're scraping the barrel here.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Arizona State, nice win at Gonzaga.
Yes.
The Sun Devils are 13-0. Zags aren't quite what they were. Like last year, they weren't very good, but when you think of Gonzaga over the last 20 years, they're pretty good. What do you make of Arizona State? I think they're starting to get some votes in the AP poll. Take that for what you will, but they are 13-0. Big 12 appears to be open beyond maybe the top 2 teams. I haven't seen bracketology yet. I'm just saying.
Yes.
So where do the Sun Devils land in all this going into league play?
Next week. The illness has slowed me down a little bit this week. Yeah, I mean 13-0, but you got to have the quality wins too. And I forget exactly where they are in the net at the moment. I'm gonna search while we're here. I'm not sold on like them
44th.
Yeah. Okay. So they're in the conversation at least with that, right? Like probably in the bubble conversation, I would say right now, because they need to pick up some quality wins. I'm really interested to see what this team does as we get into Big 12 play. Like I don't feel like yes, 13-0 is great, right? Like when you're talking about teams kind of from where they're starting from, like this is a vast improvement from I'm sure where they were last year. But now it's like, okay, but if we put you up against a team that actually is like a tournament quality team, what does that look like? And I don't think we've really seen that yet. So I'm very intrigued to see what this team looks like. Not really against like a TCU, right? Like I expected TCU is still gonna like blow them out of the water, but how do you look against a Baylor, against an Oklahoma State, like some of these other Big 12 teams that are more in the teams we're expecting to make the tournament, but they're not, top 10 teams.
Yeah. Gabby Elliott, 16.5 points a game. McKenna Brackens, 14.5 points, 8 boards, 50% shooting. They have some talent in Tempe. Molly Miller's done a phenomenal job in year 1. And they're in the conversation, which is, I mean, they haven't been in the conversation in years. One note outside the conference, this is from, I have to go back to Sunday. We can hit on some of the Sunday ones, but Creighton. They've generally been the other Big East team the last handful of years. They're now 5-5. They don't have any bad losses per se. South Dakota State, at Nebraska, Northern Iowa. Okay, that's not great. UNLV, and then most recently K-State. They don't have any good wins. Is this the last time we're going to say the words Creighton this year?
So I think we are seeing the effect of it. They've been so good the last few years with like that same core of players, the Lauren Jensens, the Molly Mogensen, the Morgan Molly, and now that's all gone. And I think this team is probably just I don't expect to be talking about Creighton a whole lot this year.
Well, that's the last time I plan on talking about Imperial unless they do something shocking, which in the Big East you have however many times you play UConn chances to do that for the most part. Quickly, any notes from Texas, Baylor, UConn, USC, a couple of games over the weekend that they were ranked games, but this is where last week I talked about there's not as much parity as we make it out to be. There are very much haves and have-nots. UConn and Texas, very much in the haves. They're probably the two best teams in the country. USC and Baylor were two ranked teams, and there were two non-competitive games.
Yep, exactly. I mean, UConn and Texas just both keep rolling here. I don't know. There's a whole lot to say about these games, right? Like UConn, Sarah Strong was really good. AC Fudd is really good. And then the depth was on display. It's a similar story. And then for Texas, I mean, not a single Baylor player made it in double figures. 27 for Madison Booker. Jordan Lee, I think, just continues to be the difference maker for this team. She had 4 threes. Like, it's just like them consistently getting a few threes a game is like such a big step from where they were last year. I think that's what's making them kind of that top 2 team right now. And that's separating them from like the South Carolina, the UCLA, which is a small separation, but it is separating them right now.
I saw a stat. Rory Harmon has, I'm pulling it up, 44 assists and 3 turnovers in her last 4 games.
That's insane.
It's obscene. Yeah, so she doesn't need to, she's very much your classic 1990s point guard.
Yep.
Where she's not going to, kind of like Raven Johnson's this too, not going to score 25 more often than not. She did against UCLA, but more often than not, she's going to live in that 8 to 12 point range with close to double-digit assists. She's done it 4 straight games, and clearly she takes care of the basketball, and that's just, and on top of the 94 feet of pressure, how many steals does she get? So she's not committing turnovers, and she's forcing a bunch. Probably, I don't know, voters are weird. They look at stats a lot, mostly scoring. She's playing like an All-American, first-team All-American. I don't care if she averages 8 points a game. She's and I know Madison Booker is the better WNBA prospect. She's great. I'm not trying to discount anything that Madison Booker does. I think Harmon's leap from last year to this year is the biggest difference because Booker was really, really good last year, and she's really, really good this year, and Texas has seemed to find a whole nother gear.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And then how about a win for Louisville?
Overtime. I think Ziegler just keeps to be such a great add to this team. 17-8 in the win. I mean, it's an overtime win, though. Like, I still feel like the top of the ACC is kind of wide open. Is it Louisville? Is it UNC? I don't really know.
Yeah. If you told me it was someone else,
maybe. But
if you told me NC State, I wouldn't dismiss you. I don't see Notre Dame. I don't see Duke. So it's probably one of those 3 teams. And then even like you go down the list, even tournament teams relative to some of these other leagues, I don't see it a whole lot out of the ACC. Let me pull it up really quick. I mean, again, it's early. There's a chance for someone to separate themselves, right? But you have Louisville, NC State, Notre Dame, Duke, North Carolina. Like, if you're telling me, like, Syracuse is off to a 10-1 start. Okay. I think this is an important weekend for Stanford. We'll get to that. It's going to be a Stanford-heavy show. They're off to a nice start at 9-2, so if I can throw them in there. Virginia's off to a decent start. They have a pretty good net ranking. Miami's okay. Virginia Tech's okay. Like, there's going to be a lot of bubble teams, and then like Pitt, SMU, Boston College, Florida State, Georgia Tech, bad. Cal,
not good.
Cal's okay. So, yeah, from an ACC standpoint, things aren't great in the ACC, basically anywhere. And that's starting to creep over into women's basketball, I think, where they're probably the worst of the Power 4 conferences in terms of elite. Like, no one's winning a national championship here, I don't think. There won't be that many teams hosting, and they're going to have fewer bids, and that's something they need to figure out.
Yep. I agree.
That's it. I got nothing else from the week, from last week.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into this preview. There are a couple of good games tonight. Mentioned big weekend for Stanford. They play Washington tonight, and they play Oregon on Sunday. That's a neutral site game technically, and I think tonight's game's at home. Don't need to go 2-0 frankly, if they go 0-2 and lose by a combined like 5 points, I'd feel good.
Yep.
Do think that they need to probably go 1-1 to establish that they're not back in the way we think of Stanford, but that they're a tournament caliber team.
Yeah, I agree. I think you need one of these wins to kind of boost the tournament resume and to say, like, yeah, this is a team that should make the tournament. I'm very interested to see what they look like tonight against Washington. I think this Washington team we've talked about, we're both high on them. But I think this is a really good test for Stanford at home, and a Washington team that we talked about don't lose to Green Bay this weekend. They didn't lose to Green Bay, but they got very close down there. They scraped by Green Bay. I think this is just going to be a really fun game. It's probably like I haven't looked at the tip time. Is it like a nice 10 p.m. tip, like old Pac-12 days?
It is on ACC Extra.
What a fun night!
It's a throwback to the time of yesteryear.
Yes.
Where you thrived. This is your time.
Yeah, I love a Friday night Pac-12 basketball game.
10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Friday night. That's making Gauer time. Yeah. Stanford, they are 9-2. The losses, Florida Gulf Coast, not quite as good as it was.
Yeah.
And then they probably would have beaten Tennessee if they didn't turn the ball over 30 times.
Yes.
And they only lost by 3. But still, it's a loss. Their best wins, Cal on Sunday, and then at Gonzaga, which again is okay. So they don't have that marquee win yet. Washington would be that. I do like Nuno Aguirre is an established, very good senior presence. Chloe Clardy's having a very good junior year, and there's reason for optimism with these couple of these highly touted freshmen in Laura Shamfai and Haley Swain. Split with Washington and Oregon, I feel really, really good. Then they have Cornell, and then they open, welcome to the world of Stanford basketball. They open in the triangle at NC State, at North Carolina. There's a chance here for Stanford to stamp itself quickly in the next 2 weeks. We'll see if they can do it against Washington. Huskies, you and I both liked them in the preseason. They're 9-1, a lot of quad 4 wins. Lost at USC. Almost got by a good Green Bay team. I'm starting to kind of need to see it against bigger competition, so I think this is an important game for the Huskies too. Yeah,
I agree. I think we've seen them beat up on some not great teams, but I'm interested to see what Washington looks like as we get into conference play here, and this game is a good start to that. But yeah, we got to see it.
So Megan's going to go to the mall. She can get her Christmas shopping done. And while she's wrapping her presents at 10 o'clock tonight, she's going to be tuned into Stanford and Washington.
Yes.
She's also
we'll be ready for Christmas.
Yes, also probably going to watch Villanova Seton Hall. So Villanova plays Seton Hall tonight and then St. John's on Monday. Someone's got to be the second best Big East team, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, someone does. If I had to put money on someone right now, I would say it's going to be Nova. But I'm interested to see what they look like this weekend. I think it's an important weekend for them and for Seton Hall too, because I think Seton Hall has a shot at that spot as well. For the Big East, like I think if they want to get 2 teams in, it needs to be like Nova, to be honest. But this should be an interesting one.
Villanova is 30th in the net.
Yeah.
Where's Seton Hall?
58th. So they need to move it up a little bit, but like at least still in the conversation. And then St. John's is 102. So I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, that loss is going to look a lot worse for Oklahoma State, I think, than it will be.
Yeah.
Like it's a good win for St. John's, but they're not in the conversation.
Right.
So that really can only hurt Oklahoma State more than it helps St. John's.
Yeah.
Creighton's 101 too. Yeah, they're toast. Seton Hall's interesting. They're 7-3. They lost by 4 at a now ranked Princeton team.
Mm-hmm.
The Tigers are legit, as they always are.
Yes.
They lost by 8 at NC State. They lost basically at the buzzer to Columbia. And they just beat a bad SEC team, but Auburn on Sunday. There's something there. If the problem with the Big East, they just, when your resume is, especially when it's iffy, they just don't have any, like this is almost a must win.
Yeah. They don't have a lot of wiggle room, unfortunately.
Or go and beat UConn.
Yeah.
On January 3rd.
which that'll do it for you. But I feel like you gotta try to bank on the other things because the likelihood of that one is a little bit lower. But yeah, they're gonna need to come into Big East play and really win some of these games. And I mean, maybe you can afford a loss to Nova, but I think that's about it to try to get that up in there.
I will say they get UConn at their place on Sunday, January 25th at noon. That's a sleepy early game. UConn, they've had weird games there.
Yeah.
Or they've won, but they've trailed at the half a bunch. And it's like, what the sky's falling in stores. UConn didn't look good for 20 minutes, and then they turn around in the second half. But they've had some battles there.
Yes.
Watch out for the Pirates.
Yeah, it's always a good team. And then they always turn it on in the Big East tournament too. I feel like no matter what, they're always in some overtime game or something in that Big East tournament.
Oh boy. Overtime conference tournament games or MTEs.
Oh my god, it's always like the last game of like the Saturday when there's like 4 games, and it's like, can you not? Can we just go home?
I live in the world of college sports radio. I need game 1 of a session to take an hour 55 and be out on time. Charleston, a couple of weeks ago, we had game 1 of 4 of the day, took 2:20. It was on the men's side, 2:20, and then it went to overtime. So it took 2 hours and 50 minutes. Boy, that set us back.
Yeah.
Whole rest of the day. It was a very long day. And, you get paid a flat rate. I can go on and on about the lame basketball games. On the men's side, the women's side has it down.
Yeah.
Go to quarters, reset fouls, 1 fewer TV break. We're rolling. All right, that's it for tonight. So a couple of, we'll say good, not great games. Stanford, Washington could be very interesting. Villanova, Seton Hall. If you know, you know. You should be watching that one. Tomorrow, we got whatever the heck they call this fake tournament in Brooklyn for the second year. But it gives us 2 good games. Yeah. 11 a.m. it's the Champions Classic. 11 a.m. for Louisville, Tennessee. How do the Cardinals react now that they've gotten one of these big wins? Because we talked about it last week. Like, what happens if Louisville gets one? It seems like that stock can go up. It's time to prove it. Don't follow it up with a dud.
Yeah, I think this is a big opportunity for Louisville to go get a second one and really start kind of humming here. And I feel like you said, like they got the UNC one, so that's the start. But can they now go get it against Tennessee? And then on the flip side for Tennessee, I mean, like they just had that nice win over Stanford not that long ago, but like, I don't know. Something about this team just feels like it's not where it was last year. So I'm interested to see, can they start to take a corner and figure things out? Or is it just, I don't know. Like, I just don't know that they can make enough of the threes that they take to win some of these games.
Yeah, Tennessee, since they lost big, they've only played 9 games this year. Everyone else has played 11, 12, 13. Louisville's played 14. So we haven't seen them a ton. Since that big loss to UCLA, they held on at Stanford, admittedly not an easy trip. You're going across the country. You're playing late night. You're playing a team with a very good defense in Stanford. Then they beat the snot out of Winthrop. Seems pretty simple. You just said it. Do they make threes? They were 5 of 26 versus the Cardinal, but they forced 30 turnovers.
Right.
And they only won by 3. You have a really, really good turnovers, really, really bad 3-point shooting. It turns into a close win. And then they made 16 on 42 attempts against Winthrop. They made like 30 in a game last year against NC Central. I don't love the matchup for the Lady Vols. Cardinals are 12th best in the nation in turnovers per game, 11th best in turnover rate. So they take care of the ball. I expect them to turn the ball over more than 11 and a half times on Saturday, but I don't see 30 on the horizon. Louisville also makes a lot of threes. And unlike Tennessee, they take them and make them. They're top 40 in 3-point percentage. Tennessee is 203rd in the country in 3-point percentage. They just take a billion of them. So they're going up against a team that makes threes and doesn't turn it over. That's not a great recipe.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Tennessee.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of out on them until I see something else at the moment.
They can get anyone on the right day. Like if you told me they played South Carolina in the SEC quarters and made 16 threes and won. Sure. I don't see them doing it 3 games in 3 days. I don't see them doing it. I expect, if they make it out of the first weekend, they're not doing it 4 more times in a row. At least the evidence hasn't suggested they can yet.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're the team that you don't want in your bracket in March because absolutely they can go out there and turn the ball over a bunch and make some threes and upset anyone on any given night, but like they're not a team that I'm going to be like, oh yes, let's put them in the Final Four either.
Yeah, it's just the consistency isn't quite there
Right.
yet. Chance to do that at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I understand it's TV and all that jazz, but seems early. And then
for like New York, like people got to get there. I don't know. Like you would think it's going to be a lot heavy UConn fan crowd, right? Like it's not that hard to get to the city from Connecticut, but like I mean, no, those fans aren't going to make it to the 11 a.m. game.
I know Tennessee's there.
Yeah.
I saw their play-by-play guy tweet a picture of, I believe, the Rockefeller tree. So they're there. The fans, it's Tennessee. Fans always travel.
That's fair.
They played Wednesday of SEC tournament week last year. They were the first game. They were noon. What's it, Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday, whatever the heck the first day is. And they weren't expected to play Wednesday because they lost to Georgia like the week before.
Right.
It was full of orange. It was full of orange. Tennessee will be there. I'm not worried about Tennessee.
Yeah.
Louisville. It's the Friday before Christmas. Sneak out a day early. Go to New York. Spend a weekend there. Sounds nice. Followed by UConn, Iowa. Can the Hawkeyes keep it close?
Yeah, I don't like. I'm interested from a UConn perspective. Like I think Hannah Stuckey's the biggest test they've seen in a front court probably so far. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup. Like, how do they do that with Sarah Strong, Sarah Williams? Like, we haven't really seen like as good as the front court's been. Like, we haven't really seen it tested much in who they've played. So I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I feel like for Iowa to keep this close, like someone's going to have to step up and have a big night. And we've talked about how this team is so balanced, but like, I don't know. I think someone has to step up and really, I don't know.
I think that
to keep it close.
I think that someone is Stuckey. They've played 4 top 100 teams, and she shot 45% or below in 3 of them. 4 of 11 against Baylor, they won. 4 of 9 against Fairfield, also won. 5 of 14 against Iowa State. She played well against Miami. I'll give her that, 17 and 12. Need that Stuckey or the Final Four Stuckey from the UConn game 2 years ago, where she was, I think, the difference maker in that win. And then Ava Hayden, she had 1 bad game against Iowa State. That's the black mark, but she obviously has to stay on the floor. Can't play 16 minutes and foul out. Otherwise, they're toast, which I think, I think it's an anomaly more than anything, given what else she's done this year. But those two have to be good for Iowa to hang around. And then I think they just kind of have to hope UConn has an off shooting night. Their defense is okay, but they're 309th in 3-pointers made against, 3-point rate allowed. There's a world here where the Huskies make 12, 14 threes and good night. Game's over by halftime. But that opener against Louisville, if they're 4 of 26, the bigs play well, Iowa's going to hang around.
Yeah.
What is your biggest weakness with this UConn team, do you think?
That's a good question.
I've seen people complain about the point guard play.
I actually think KK Arnold has been great. So I actually kind of strongly disagree with people that keep complaining about point guard play. Because I think KK Arnold's been significantly better than KK Arnold was last year. And she's not going to be Paige Beckers. Like, I think that's probably the problem there is people want her to go be Paige Beckers. And, like, it's not a fair ask, right? Like, we can't expect her to go become Paige Beckers. I don't actually have a problem with the point guard play. I think it's the consistency maybe of, like, the third, fourth scoring option. Like, I think we know every night you're going to get a lot from Sarah Strong. You're going to get a lot from AZ Fudd. And then I think UConn gets something from enough other players every night to win big. But there's not, to me, a clear third option yet. I don't think we've seen, like, it's Sarah Williams or it's Ashlyn Shade or it's Blanca Quiñones. It's been a little bit of a committee effort there, which I think is fine. But I'm kind of waiting for someone to kind of step up as that, like, dominant third option.
I think it's becoming Blanca. I know she comes up.
Yeah, I think so, too. But, yeah.
Sarah Williams was better. I know the stat line isn't, didn't blow anyone away, but she was really good the opening minutes against USC. She was really good early against Marquette. And maybe that's all they need from her. Like, they don't need her to score 20 points right now. And then I think I'm with you, like Ashlyn Shade, I don't think has really, she looks a lot like the same player she was as a freshman, which probably isn't a good thing. She was good as a freshman.
Right.
So maybe it's fine, but she just hasn't quite taken the leap consistency wise. And then if you're trying to pick nits here, they don't get to the free throw line. UConn.
Yeah.
They're 354th in the country out of 363 teams in free throw rate. So they just don't get to the line, which take that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, someone who's been hard on 80-foot, AZ foot in the past, not so much this year. It's very fun to see her fully healthy now for basically a year since she came back from that knee sprain early last year after the torn ACL, after we know the history. It looks like she's playing. It's like a new person compared to just what we saw at times throughout her UConn career beforehand. Like the confidence is there, obviously the ability's there, but it seems like she's just playing with zero weight on her shoulders, and it's scary.
Yeah, she's been so good and so consistent. And it's like, yes, she's shooting the ball well and scoring a ton, but it's everything else she's doing too. Like Daisy Foot is like a complete basketball player, distributing the ball, her defense, it's a little bit of everything. And yeah, I think having that and Sarah Strong on the same team is very scary.
Yes, trying to figure out when those two are your top two. Who's number 3 consistently? That's a fine problem for Gino.
Exactly.
And then a couple of Big 12 has some interesting games this weekend.
Yeah.
Do I expect K-State to beat TCU? No. But the Frogs are 12-0, and they have 10 games against Quad 4 opposition. They beat NC State on the road. I think it's a nice win, despite the fact that NC State's maybe disappointed. And then they beat Richmond. Those are 2 top 35 opponents. Their next best is UAB, who's ranked 150th on our hoop stats. Jacksonville's 193rd. Everyone else is 200th. So long story short, they haven't played anyone, with 2 exceptions. So it's great they've had 4 triple-doubles the last 4 games. I do expect them to smother K-State defensively. I still think it's a top 5 defense. I don't know if it's the lead the country and everything like they do now defense, but now we're going to actually see how, I don't want to say how for real because TCU is good. Is TCU national championship good? Are they second weekend good? We'll finally find out.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to find that out quickly as we get into conference play. As much as like the Big 12, I don't think is. I mean, I think they're better than the ACC. They're not, the SEC. But I think we're going to figure it out quickly how good TCU actually is.
Next for K-State at BYU, who's okay. At Utah, tough place to play. And then home to Oklahoma State, who can score, even if they've disappointed me a little bit. We'll learn about TCU. And then K-State, I still don't know. I tried to dig into why have they lost or won some of these games, and it's all over the place. They lost to South Dakota because they were 3 of 15 from deep, and they committed 19 turnovers. They lost to Texas A&M. That game was basically even statistically. They just made a couple of fewer plays. Green Bay, they didn't shoot well from 3. UNC made 14 threes. And then K-State missed 12 free throws. They lost by 12. So they were right in that game. San Diego State, they were out-rebounded, had 20 turnovers. But then they had 21 turnovers against Ole Miss and beat them. And they made all their free throws. So, like, I don't know.
Nothing makes sense.
I guess shoot better from 3. I don't know. I have no idea what to make of K-State. Couldn't tell you. And then Sunday, Iowa State, Kansas. I think same thing. Like, do I think this will be a nail-biter? Probably not. But the Jayhawks have a bucket getter in Samai Nichols. Audie Crooks, questionable. So this is an opportunity, I think, more for Kansas than it is Iowa State to try to make a stamp as a potential tournament team.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if Audie Crooks is not out there, I think there's actually a huge opportunity there for Kansas to try to get a win that people will maybe remember that Audie Crooks didn't play, but it'll age well for them.
On a spreadsheet, it's a quad 1 win over a top 10 team.
Exactly.
So if this were to happen from the Iowa State side, like I almost throw it out.
Yeah.
Sort of like getting blown out, which I don't really see happening. Lose, fine, you don't have your All-American National Player of the Year candidate. Drop in the bucket. For Kansas, it's an opportunity to vault up in the net, vault up in a variety of places. And I mean, if you don't know, if you haven't watched Nichols, she leads the country in usage rate, or maybe second to Hannah Hidalgo. She's in the 100th percentile, 20 points a game, 5 assists. They have a 3-point shooter, L. Evans, who shoots over 50% from 3. This is a pretty good Kansas team for a team that's been on the fringe. They made the tournament a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last year. They're just not, they're not the men's team on Kansas, obviously.
Right.
Let me pull it up. They made the tournament.
I feel like they were like on
24
last year, but I don't think they made it. And then this year, in 2024, they made it.
Yeah, they made the second round in 24. They've only made it twice since 2013. So, so they're not consistently there. But they won 16 games last year. They're already at 10-2 this year. Their strength of schedule is actually better than last year. So, yeah, this is a big opportunity for Kansas. If Crooks plays, obviously that makes it much harder. And then Baylor, Texas Tech. This one might be the most interesting game for me of anyone this weekend. We'll see. Talia Scott, I haven't seen an update. She left the Texas game. They weren't winning. They weren't competitive when she was playing. It didn't look good. Let me search. Regardless of whether she plays, yes, Talia Scott was not on the floor last night, and they beat the heck out of someone. Nikki Collins said day to day. So I would not expect her to be back. But even if she's there, I don't think Baylor is that good.
No.
I think I said that last week, and then obviously losing by $1 billion to Texas didn't help matters.
And then you got a Texas Tech team that is undefeated but haven't beat anyone. So I think this one is very interesting in terms of an opportunity for Texas Tech to see like how for real are they. And then I don't know, for Baylor it would still just be a nice win because I'm with you. Like they can't score. I'm not very high on them.
In top 100 games this year, they've scored 58 against Duke, they won. 62 against UNLV on the road, they won. 52 against Iowa, 54 against Texas. Especially if you don't have Talia Scott, this is very much not a top 25 team. I'm over the seniors. Dariana Littlepage Buggs and Bella Fauntleroy have combined for 223 games at Baylor and 173 starts. They have not yet shown up offensively in a single big game this year, and that is a massive problem. Massive. They combined for 10 points against Texas.
You got to get more from those two. You have to get more from those two.
You have to. Like Littlepage Buggs rebounds, she dishes, she does other things. They can't score.
Yeah.
They need their two seniors who've made 173 career starts combined to score the basketball.
Yeah.
Now, Texas Tech is a top 15 scoring defense. Megan mentioned it. We'll see how real that is. Nice win at home over Mississippi State, a tournament team.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, no one inside the top 100. Again, I get it. You haven't made the tourney since 2013. They've been there twice in the last 20 years. Like, no criticism. We'll just learn how good they really are. They seem to have talent. Bailey Maupin has seen it all. Her fourth year in Lubbock, she stuck around, 15 points a game. Jalen Bristow, 3 points per game last year, 14 this year, big improvement. And then Snutta Collins, transfer from Ole Miss, first off the bench. She's been really good too. So I don't know what time that game is Sunday. I'll be watching it Sunday at work. Let me click. No, I went to Monday.
Oh, no.
We're just work laptops, man. 4 o'clock on ESPN Plus. There you go. I think that's the best game Sunday. And then South Texas at South Dakota State. I have nothing on this other than it's going to be a blowout, but kudos to Texas for going to Brookings. South Dakota State's gotten some teams to go to their place.
I feel like South Carolina went there a few years ago.
Duke went there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos. I don't like the proliferation of these fake Champions Classic neutral site BS games like Oregon and Stanford on Sunday in San Francisco. Like, why? Just play at Stanford. Yeah. But I will say, I feel like we've seen more of these teams. Or they're going to South Dakota State. They're going to Belmont. They're going to USF.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos, because you wouldn't see that on the men's side.
Yes.
And then Oregon, Stanford. We talked about Stanford. There's a time in the world when Oregon and Stanford would have been a top 5 matchup. Instead, here we are where the Ducks and Cardinal are both decent. I could see this being like an 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
A 7-10 matchup. Oregon, again, another team where I like some of their pieces. I just need to see it against someone with a pulse. And this is a chance to do it because we weren't really competitive against UCLA. That's an awfully high bar to clear. Otherwise, their best win is Oregon State. They're okay. So, yeah, just they have Stanford, Michigan, Northwestern, then at USC, Michigan State, Iowa. Between now and January 15th, we will learn whether the Ducks are good or not.
Yes.
Now, this caps our preview because there are zero Division I basketball games Tuesday through Friday. And there is one game next Saturday. 1-11 Omaha battles an NAIA school in Briarcliff. We are
Still
not
with the
gonna.
non-Division 1 games.
Yes. So there are basically 0 games from Tuesday all the way through Sunday, and then Sunday the 28th, the world resumes. Ohio State UCLA is probably the highlight. I got nothing.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing going on. I'm not going to break down Omaha and Briarcliff. So let's hand out some Christmas presents. It's Christmas. Megan, you haven't bought these presents yet, clearly. Give me a couple of teams when you're going to go to the mall tonight. What are you getting a couple of teams?
I want UCLA to get healthy. I know Sienna Betts played her first game this week. We still haven't seen Garnier. I want them to get healthy, and I want to see what UCLA actually looks like at full depth.
Okay. I'm going to give Duke a do-over button. Just start, whether you want to start from the Baylor game in Paris, whether you want to start from halftime of the West Virginia game, because I think if they gave them a second shot, they still probably lose to South Carolina, UCLA, LSU, maybe one of these other games, like maybe Baylor. Again, if they have just beaten West Virginia or South Florida, or West Virginia and South Florida, it looks a lot better than what it is right now. And then Notre Dame, I'm going to clone Hannah Hidalgo. Because KK Bransford is apparently not a season-ending injury, according to Neil Ivey, but she's out indefinitely. That's not a great sign. No. Clone Hannah, because otherwise I don't see the Irish as anything beyond very different stylistically, but kind of like Tennessee, where on the given night, sure, Hidalgo explodes and scores 40 points and has 9 steals, and Notre Dame beats someone like a North Carolina or Louisville, or they still play UConn, they still play some teams. But like otherwise, this is just a above average ACC team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a numbers game at this point. They don't have that many overwhelming presences, and Bransford is one of their 3 best players, and she's out for an indefinite period of time. So those are my Christmas presents. All right. This week, as we close, as we always do with our draft, this week, going ABC order, we're going to the West Coast. Heavy Stanford show today. Let me pull up. Share. Coin flip. All right, Megan. Heads or tails? Oh, heads or tails?
Heads.
All right, you win. You get to go first. And let me pull up a Word doc here. Okay. Who are you taking first of the Stanford Cardinal?
I'm gonna go with Nneka. Okay. I feel like, there's a lot of good players that come out of Stanford, and I feel like you're gonna love this one because there's a lot of history that comes with this draft.
Yes.
But I feel like Nneka, multiple Final Fours. I didn't win a championship with her, but she's just, her presence in the WNBA probably has an argument to be the best player that came out of Stanford.
3-time All-American, top 5 points and rebounds, number 1 pick. I will go with her sister, 2nd overall, Shanae, also a 3-time All-American, National Player of the Year. She's all-time leader in points and rebounds, also a number 1 pick. So I'll take, the Iguamake's are off the board, and then I will go with Candace. Let me write that down. Candace Wiggins, 2nd all-time in points, guard. Stanford is more forward-heavy than guard-heavy. Won the Wade Trophy, a 4-time All-American. She had 41 in the Elite Eight against Maryland in 2008, 25 against UConn in the Final Four, and they only scored 48 points in the national championship game against Tennessee that they lost. Well, she scored 14 of them, so she's the only reason they hung around to begin with. So give me Shanae and Candace Wiggins.
All right. I'm going to go next with Jennifer Azzi, 1989 to 1990 team. That's the first team that won a national championship. She was the most outstanding player on the team. Took it to its first Final Four. Also the namesake of current very good women's basketball player at UConn. And then I might regret this because I'm going to have no guards by the time we get to the next round, but I'm going to take Kim Brink as the next one. Part of that most recent national championship team. Just All-American multiple times. Great player.
She would have been the National Player of the Year in a runaway 2 years ago if, obviously, Caitlin Clark existed. Right. But Caitlin Clark did exist, so she was a distant second. But she was so good her senior year. I was hoping I could get easy. Here we are. So I will go with Val Whiting, again, she won 2 national titles. She was on both of the first 2 Stanford teams, had 28 in the national semis against Dawn Staley in Virginia, won by a point, had 16 in the Natty in 92 against Western Kentucky. I didn't realize that. Western Kentucky made a national championship game appearance. Despite that, having 28 and 16 in 2 Final Four games, she did not win Most Outstanding Player. I lied. I wasn't born yet by a month. I was about to say I was months old. Wasn't born yet, so I don't know why. But Val Whiting, and then we'll go Nicole Powell, 3-time All-American, 2,000 points, 2-time Pac-12 Player of the Year. Lost by 2 her senior year against Tennessee in 2004. She had 31 in the Elite 8, so what could have been? But yeah, Whiting and Powell. So you have the next 2.
The next 2, okay. I need some guards, which, as you said, there's not a whole lot in the Stanford great list. It is a lot more forwards. I'm gonna go with a somewhat recent pick. One of the Hull twins from the 2021 team, Lexi Hull, because we need some guards on this team.
Before? Oh, well, I'll let you pick your second one.
And then I'm gonna go Haley Jones.
Okay, I was gonna say before Haley Jones.
Like Haley Jones like toes that line. I'll be like, is she really guard?
Point forward. It's fine.
Yeah, point forward. But yeah, Haley Jones from that team as well.
All right, so I have 2 more picks. I got big. I will go Kate Starbird, a 2-time All-American in the 90s. Best player in the last 2 years in the Final Four loss. She had 26 in the overtime loss to Old Dominion in 97. They did lose, but still, she's the best player for the Cardinal, averaged 17 points a game in her career. So give me Starbird, and then I need a little size. So off the bench. Do I need size? I have a forward and a guard that I'm to heck with it. Sorry, Jane Appel. Give me Sonia Henning. First all-time in assists. She was on the 90 title team. She had 21 and 9 rebounds in the final against Auburn, All-American in 91. So yeah, I'll take that coming off the bench. She won a ship. Sorry, Jane Appel. You have one more? Close us out.
All right. I'm going to go somewhat recent, but not quite 2020, like one national championship recent with Alana Smith, another forward in the W now. Was really good for Stanford during that time.
All right. So Team Megan is NECA, Jennifer Azzi, Cam Brink, Lexi Hull, Haley Jones, Alana Smith, and Team Rob is Shanae with Candace Wiggins, Val Whiting, Nicole Powell, Kate Starbird, and Sonia Henning. My apologies to, I love me an AIAW player. Jean Ruarkoff didn't quite make the cut. She was on my list, though. If we had like 2 more picks, she would have made it, alas. So how many people do you have to buy for?
I don't even know. I made a list. It's not as bad as...
Did you check it twice?
Yeah. Honestly, I actually don't have that much shopping to do, or like my immediate family, because we just all went on vacation together, isn't really doing gifts. Like that was the gift, and we're done. And most of my friends were like all going to Disney for running a half marathon. Some of them were running the marathon. I'm just buying everyone like a day of like
when is this?
In 2 weeks after the 10th, like that weekend of January.
Okay, I have lots of questions about running a half marathon at Disney, but we'll save that. We got Christmas in Connecticut. We are lugging. So I had to convince my wife. We got our 4-year-old like a giant wooden heavy thing to park cars on. Like, we're not bringing this to Connecticut.
Yeah.
We're not wrapping this, and we're not bringing it in a car to Connecticut with all of our other nonsense. We got a monorail from Disney because he wanted it. He told Santa that he wants a roundhouse for a train. Luckily, he's getting it. But last year we saw Santa like 6 times, and this year we saw him once. And then the other day he said, I already saw Santa and told him what I wanted. So I don't know. Excuse me. So everyone, we will not have a show next week because, as we mentioned, there's no games to talk about. We will be back New Year's. Whatever that Friday is, the 2nd, we will be back with a show. Megan will tell us all about Disney and what's to come in that weekend. And we'll both be on the road that week. So everyone, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hope Santa gets you everything you want. And we will talk to you in 2 weeks.